everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so excited to be back. I just got back from Road to California. That was so much fun and a lot of amazing quilters. I was able to meet so many wonderful people and their families, and got to know all of you a little better in the California area. So thank you for being so warm and inviting, and let's jump in and get started because I have a lot to show you today, and I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough time to show you everything I want to show you. So welcome, Jeanette. You're my loyalist fan. Thank you for joining, and good luck with those taxes. I hope you don't owe too much. And Catherine, thank you. And Gary, God, you guys are so stalwart. Thank you so much for being here. I have a lot to go through. I just wanted to let you know that this frame here is our new frame. I showed you the hoop frame last time and showed you how beautiful the frame is and the sturdiness of it, and you know, it's such a solid frame. Remember on the other rails, they're 1.5 inches. Well, these rails are grooved, and it is so solid that if you lean up against it, you're not going to get it distorting your design. So if you accidentally push in this pole here is going to be really solid and very sturdy, which we need. This is the rolling rail. This is an 8-foot rolling rail frame. And so what we have done is we've taken the hoop frame and we've converted it to the rolling rail style. That's the beauty of this Evolution frame. It's the first and the last frame that you'll ever need. And I told you that's more expensive, and the reason it's more expensive is because we have built it to be solid, to stand the test of time, and to hold your machine to actually make it sew and quilt better. It's a great system, so go online and check it out. It's a great price right now, and so now's the time to upgrade and jump in. And if you're ready to upgrade to a 21-inch machine, what a great combo. And you could ask the salespeople about our trade-in policy, if we can give you something towards your trade-in. So make sure that you call our 800 number, check out the website, and look online to see this beautiful frame. And like I said, if you're ready to upgrade, now's the time, because this is a fabulous frame and a fabulous price. And it's the last frame you'll ever need, because it's going to be easy to level and it's going to make your machine so much better. Okay, so let's jump in, because I wanted to talk to you about the automation part of it and how we can take letters and write out the names and make them continuous line. I've had a lot of people ask, how do I do that so it looks cohesive, it looks nice, and there's not a lot of jumping from one letter to the next, okay? This, to have the fonts, you need the gold features, and the gold features are extra. But you could also go online if you don't have the gold features, and you have, you need the pro version to get the gold features. But the fonts are really nice and very useful when you want to write out something. So that's what we're going to go into and jump into. So I've brought my laptop in, and I've already done it a couple of times, but I wanted to show you how easy it is and what to look for as we're making our path, so it looks really nice. Okay. So let's open it up, and I was connected to it, so I sewed out my block here to test it, to see how it was sewing. So make sure that you're following your pre-quilting checklist and getting everything you need, getting it set up so you don't have to jump around, and you can just stay focused on what you're doing, the task at hand. And I'm going to open it up, and it says it's not connected. Yeah, it's not connected because it's connected to my mouse. I'm using my mouse today, and you'll see it on the screen how my little mouse is working. I'm going to just click on OK, and it says make sure that you're disconnected. Yeah, I am. Okay. So now I'm going to open up, and I'm going to open up in simulation mode. Now, what's great about our automation, I'm going to hit cancel here, is that you can load it on 3 devices. So I have it loaded on my laptop and my tablet, but today I'm just working basically on my tablet. And it's really nice because I like to use my mouse and I like to move across the path because I'm really good with the mouse. Now these kids nowadays, they can do the touch screen, they can do the little pad right here in front of them and move it around. I'm getting better at that, but I'm really good with the mouse. So, so let's go in, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on gold features. So I'm going to set up my letters or my word that I want to use on my quilt, and I'm opening up the gold features and see it says gold access features, and I'm going to come over here. It's on the top row, the second one from the left. It's in the middle, okay? And I'm going to open up Font Stitcher. Now, it's going to ask me to set my safe area, and so because I'm in simulation mode, I'm going to give it the biggest safe area I can. So I'm going to put in 150. That's the widest width that you can have it in simulation mode, and I'm going to make it 30 for my depth or my height. And I'm going to say okay. So now it has my safe area, and now it's going to open up. And the reason you're doing the simulation mode and putting the safe area in is it's just going to allow you that much more to quilt with and let you broaden your horizons. Okay, so here is the Font Stitcher. And I want you to notice that you have your little keyboard right here to the left, and then over here we have all of our lettering font types. And so I'm going to open up because there's one specifically that I really like, okay? Well, there's several. So first of all, let me just type out the word that I'm going to use. And I'm going to type out the word Vixen, because a girl fox is a vixen. And today I'm using my guinea pig quilt that I did, the very first one with the pink. And it's not totally straight or anything like that. But I thought, oh, it'd be fun. So I'm going to type in Vixen. And like I said, that's a girl fox. So I'm going to just put on my lock. Notice that my lock's right here because I want it all in capital letters. And I'm going to put V-I-X-E-N. Okay, there's my word that I'm going to use. Now, I don't particularly like this font because it's got these lines and curves, and it's just not girlish and fun enough for me. So let's go in and change the font. So if you click on, let me show you where I clicked. If you click on this middle section here, these are all the fonts. All the fonts are going to open up, just like in your file folder for your patterns. That's what it's going to look like. And you'll notice the arrows, the up arrow to the right and the down arrow to the left. These are what you're going to use to move through all of the fonts. So I'm going to go down to the one I really like, and it's called Ravi. And we have a sweet lady that works here, and her name is Ravi, and she is awesome, and it's right here. I love this lettering. It's kind of fun, whimsical. So just play around with it, click on it, and see what you like, and do it to the personality, and see how fun that is. It says Vixen right there. Okay, so that's my lettering, and that's what I want to use, and it's all in caps. And notice, with using the word Vixen, I don't have an A with a little insert in the middle to make it look like an A. So these are all that I can draw around and make it one continuous line, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to say, okay, this is what I want. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm just going to say, okay. And now it's going to ask me to save it. So I've already saved this a couple of times, so this will be, okay, and we're going to use our little keypad right here that pops up. So it's our little touch keyboard. I'm going to put Tuesday with Grace, and I'm going to make a space, V-I-X-E-N. And I'm going to, now I've typed in the name that I want it to be called so I can go and find it. Later on in my designs, I'm going to tap on enter. Notice that the name's up here in the keyboard. I'm going to tap on enter, and now the name has moved down here. See that? Where it says file name, it says TWG Vixen. And now I'm going to tap on save. Okay, now it's automatically going to open up and select and sew so you can place and sew it. But when I go to sew it, let me show you. what's going to happen. So I'm going to just place it. So when I'm playing in simulation mode, see this little arrow? It is acting like my sewing machine. So it is my sewing machine. So wherever I move this little arrow with my mouse, it's going to be where the sewing machine needle is in position to the quilt. So I'm just going to tap on that. Notice how it moved up to that point and my node turned green. Now I want to place this next one, and I'm just going to place it right down here. Okay, so now I placed my design and I want to go see what it looks like, just in simulation mode, what it's going to sew like. So I'm going to tap on quilt, and I want you to see these little breaks from one letter to the next? That's what I'm going to go in and get rid of and have it sew continuously. So what we're going to do is I'll show you what it's going to sew like. So it's going to sew to this point and it's going to stop. And it's going to skip, and it's going to have you move to the next. Now, if you wanted to do that, and you don't want a sewing line from one letter to the next, you absolutely can do that. You just need to know that that's how it's going to sew out. All right? I don't want it to do that because I want it to get done a little quicker, and I don't mind a little sewing line from one to the next. So let's go in. And let's get out of this. I'm going to tap on my red X at up here at the top. It's going to bring me back to my pattern placement screen. I'm going to get out of that screen as well. You can do it in one or two places. You can do it right here at this X or this red X right here. And it's going to bring you back to the home screen. Now I'm on the home screen, I can come into Pattern CAD. Remember, I saved the letters, the name, right here, so I can pull it up from my file folder in Pattern CAD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. I'm going to find the one. So I'm going to find the one that I did today, but then I'm going to quickly show you a few things, and then I'm going to go to the one that I have already done and saved. All right, so we can sew it out. So I'm going to go down to T's. It's all done alphabetically, so the T's, so it'll be up here in the T's, and it will be TWG, and it's right here. This is the one. These are the ones I saved earlier. So I'm going to open it up and see how it imported in. Notice that all these little nodes, I want to make it a little bigger, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. So I want to import it to the backgrounds because I want to trace around it to make it continuous line. Now I could select all of these, and what I'm going to do is come up here to my layers, okay? I want to make a bottom layer, and when I do that, I want to do copy to the bottom layer, and watch what happens. It copied it to the bottom layer, and so now I have lines that I can start and stop with and sew it all out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on my draw, okay? And when I tap on my draw, I want to select the splines, okay? And then I want to make sure I have my continuous line checked. All right, and once you have that, so the continuous line is going to allow you to go through, and it's going to help it so there's not as many breaks in it. So we're going to start right here, okay, and I'm going to tap and hold on my mouse on the left-hand side and bring my line all the way up here, okay? So because I don't have, I'm going to have to do a little different. I like to do a line at a time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to edit this, okay? And I'm going to select all, and now these two little red dots are called nodes. These two little squares are called handles, and the handles are movable. So if I click on this bottom handle with the left-hand side and hold it down, I can pull it out to position it right over that blue line. And that's two handles for the spline. Now I'm going to work on the top handle because notice that it needs to be moved out just a little bit, And as you work with it, you'll get to know and understand it, and it'll be so easy to move all the way through it. So now I'm going to unselect, I'm going to click on draw. This may be a little longer because I don't have my keyboard here. When you're using your keyboard, you can just tap on enter and the handles will show up and it will highlight the two little nodes. So when I want to, and notice, see, I'm right on that line, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to do one more up there, and now I'm going to move across. And as I'm moving across from one position to the next, notice how they're staying together. That's because I have continuous line checked. And now I want to edit this because the line's up off of it. Now nobody's going to know what yours is going to look like. I just want to show you how to move from one letter to the next, and why I go from one to the other. I'll go across the top, and then I'll come down, and then I'll move across the bottom and connect. And that's how you'll connect them. All right, so let's fix this. I'm going to edit it. So how to edit it, I'm just going to hold my little arrow and see this little box. I clicked on the edit. I'm just going to use my mouse, my left side again, and hold it down and pull that box around and highlight those two nodes. So when I highlight those two nodes, the little handles will come up. And now I can just continue on, and I can tap on draw and go forward. So let's do this V. We'll go to the I, and then I'll show you what I did on mine. See, and I'm not going to do that one because I think it's just fine. It's just these little curvy spots that I think I'll really work on, and I'll edit this. And I'm just going to pull it out. And I'm just going to keep moving along there, and just tap on draw and keep going up. Now, when I get to this top, I'm going to start moving across to the I, and that's what I wanted to show you. Draw. And they're close enough to each other that nobody's really going to see. So I'm just going to move right here. Okay, so now I'm to this point right here. Now I can jump from this V, because I'll finish it up as I come back along this area right here and back to this point, and then I'll jump back and finish up this V and come back to it. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to jump to the I. And then I'm just start moving across the I. And now I want to edit that to make it look a little more curvy. There we go. I'll just pull those down just slightly. And you'll never know if I'm off, and I'm going to just draw. Now I'm going to come down right here, and then I'm going to come back across right here to the X and start moving across the X. And edit that. Oh, come on. There we go. And now, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move across the top, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to go down here, into here, down across the X, all the way to the E. See how it's connected to the E? Then I'll go up across the E, all the way down, and notice the E and the N are not connected. So I could go across the top, but what I could do is one of two things, okay? Because these are so closely connected, I could go across the bottom. I could have come down with the V and done it down here. So let me show you what you do if you wanted to go down across the bottom and have it that way. So let me just back arrow out. There we go. Okay, so now I'm at the top here. I want to tap on my draw. And now what I could do is I could bring this down, and I could go along here. I'm going to edit this. And I could do it across the bottom. And as I come back, there we go. And I'm going to draw. And now I could just come across the bottom here, right here. And I'd go up this side of the I. And then edit that. So I'd go up this way. So just watch as you're drawing your design out. And then when you get down to this point, you're just going to come back along either the bottom or the top, however you want it to be. So I just look at the letters and see how close they are. And yeah, my eye will look at the lines going from across the top, so maybe you'll want to put them towards the bottom, but it's really fun to do, and this is very therapeutic. So make sure that you give yourself a chance. Just sit down and explore the wonderful world of Pattern CAD and join in those letters so that you can make them one continuous line. So I'm going to get out of this one and bring up the one that I did so that you can see how I did it, and I can show you the path that it's on. So I'm just going to click out of this, all right, and I'm not going to save this design, but I'm going to bring it up and show you. So it took me out. So let's go and select the design that I'd already worked on. All right. I did a couple of them, okay? So I'll show you this one. All right, so let me show you how this one looks. A little plus, plus. I put a little heart on it. But as I was looking and bringing it up in Pantograph, I noticed that this little line right here wasn't far enough out. And so it overlapped on top of each other. So I just need to pull this out just a little bit. So I'm going to edit this. But what I did is I started out here because I knew I wanted to add a little heart because she's a little vixen. So I went along and I added it. And I went across the top and went down here, all the way down to here. And you'll notice that I jumped over and I made a little heart. And how I did the heart was I used a spline down at the bottom, and then I used an arc right here across the top. And it just makes a really pretty heart. And so let me show you how to pull these out and what you need to look for when it comes to the nodes. And Cute Amanda, she wrote up some instructions on how to follow along and do this. So if you go to Tuesdays with Grace and you look at the little sources, you will find this little outline of how to do it. And it's a little help file for how to make the letters a continuous line. I really would like to see what you do with that. And Wendy, she said, it reminds me of embroidery. Yeah, it's so much like embroidery that if you've done any digitizing or anything like that, it's a lot of fun. And it's a little bit of a challenge, but who doesn't like a challenge? It makes our brains work. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one out first. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it. So I'm going to pull it out just a little bit. And then I'm going to pull this little heart out. So I want to make sure that once I have done my little move in one area, I want to unselect that little node. So if I selected this and then started selecting some other nodes that I wanted to move around, I want to show you what's going to happen. They're both going to move, and see how I'm trying to move that one out and that one's moving in. So you want to make sure that you unselect, because all of a sudden I forget and I go to do something and it's dang it. So I'm just going to unselect them. And here's another place that I can do it. Right there where it says unselect all, over to your right, you have all these little tools that you can do. The sizing, the smoothing, the rotating. Man, play and explore. So I want to move this heart out as well. And so I'm going to highlight this node, this node, this node, and this node. All right, and I'm just going to start moving them out this way. And notice how I can move the whole heart, nothing but the heart. And then I want to kind of play with this. Well, that's not. So notice I didn't have the little nodes show up, so that wasn't the node for that one. So it's probably down here. See? And I have nodes overlapping. So what I'm going to do is unselect that one, and that one. Well, I can't. So there are two lines on top of each other, so I'm going to have to do a little wrangling to fix it. And just play with them and have a good time. All right, so there are my nodes. I've shown you a few little things. I really would like for you to explore this. Let me show you, let me resave this. Once I've made my changes, I'm going to resave it, okay? And so I'm going to resave this and we'll see what it looks like. And I may still have to make some changes, and I could use my endpoint continuity, but I'm going to show you what it looks like in Pantograph. So we're just going to do, let's do Vixen. And I'll do a space and 2 stays with grace and enter and save. And it says I already have one, and I say yes. Okay. So now that I fixed that, I'm going to come back out of here. I'm going to go to my home screen. No, we don't need to save what we already have. And let's go into Pantograph, okay? Now, because I want my Pantograph in my border, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into Pantograph, and I'm going to use easy mode, okay? And you can also use your ruler. This is what's cool, okay? So, but I'm not connected yet, okay? I know that my border is 4 inches, but I'm going to lose some area, okay? So I'm going to make my total height and my pattern height 3.75. Oops, okay. Sorry, 3, all right, clear it out. Missed a little click there, 3.75, all right? And then I'm going to, we'll measure it with the ruler. I think it's about 16 inches, but I'm not sure. It could be 24 for all I know, but we'll measure it with the ruler. But I want to make sure that I am putting in that's my height of my design. So now I'm going to go pull up my little Vixen with the heart. Okay, notice how many rows it put in. That's because I have not adjusted my height. And notice that I didn't give it enough space, so I need to extend this out, which I'll do. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So if I did my pattern height at 3.75, that's my pattern height. So you have your total height, okay, which is what we want it to be, 3.75. But we don't want him to use these other measurements. Oh, come on, work with me. There. It's saying my pattern width is 3.75, and I didn't want that. All right, sometimes you get a little anomaly, and you have to work with it, so. It's really not liking me. Okay. It worked earlier. I don't know what's going on. Hmm? I know. We'll try the lock. Bryant says, try the lock. And he's right. Thank you, Bryant. Okay, I had my lock on, and it wouldn't allow me to make it any wider, so I got that, and now I just want to make sure that my pattern width, see, it's making my pattern width 3.75. I just want to clear that out. I wish it would let me. It wasn't like this. I don't want 4 patterns. So let's do 24. Because it's taking the calculations and it's making it work for me. So let's do 30. There we go. And notice how it's getting a little smaller. And you know what? I'm not liking easy mode, so let's go to basic and it'll allow me to do what I want it to do. So I can just go and select it, and just like you guys, I run into some frustrating things myself. Okay, see how cute that is? That is just one, okay? But it's using my 30 inches, and I know it's not going to be a continuous line, and I maybe don't want to add any more into it, but I would want to go and make a little heart in the front, okay? But I'm just going to sew this out for you, and I can go and make some changes on it when it comes time. But anyway, let me just get rid of the heart, and I'm just going to sew out the Vixen, and I'm not even going to have these little markings and these little markings so that I can go and play around with some more little things later on. I just wanted you to see what it's like. So how I'm going to go get rid of the design and part of it And that's just the heart. I'm just going to go back into my pattern CAD. And this is good for you to know because you can manipulate designs that you purchase to make them your own and to make them sew and quilt like you want them to quilt. And that's the beauty of pattern CAD. It's so much fun. I want you to really explore. All right, so let's come to this Vixen here and open it up. And I'm just going to get rid of this one right here, and I'm going to delete, and notice, and I'm going to raise this up bigger so I can really hone in and see that one. And I'm going to get rid of that one, and I'm going to delete. Okay, so notice how now that's gone. So now I'm going to move over to here, and I'm going to get rid of this one right here, and then I'm going to resave it. I'm going to get rid of this one and this one. And all it's going to, once those are highlighted, well, it didn't want it. I didn't get the right one. Delete. Okay, so now it's going to start there and sew there. Okay, so let's go and save this one. And we'll put all right, now it's saved. Let's go sew it out and show you what you can do. All right, I have one more thing after this I want to show you. I'm going to sew this Vixen out. I'm just going to sew her in one area. I'm just going to use that. And so let me unplug. Let me get all the way out of here because I have to come back in. I'm going to unplug my mouse and get rid of my pad here. I'm going to plug in my automation back into my port, okay? And I'm going to get rid of this off the screen. And now I'm going to tap on my automation. It's over here in the corner. And see, now it's loading up. And is that asking me if I want to continue in simulation mode? The answer is no. And now it's asking if my sewing machine, make sure my needle is up. And I'm going to say, okay. When you hear it engage, that's a good sign. It's a little noisy today. All right, so now it's loading in all of your items. Now it's kind of nice working on my laptop, but I'm just going to hit cancel again. That's because I have an old gold card in there, so don't worry about that. All right, so here, and I don't need to go into my gold features or do anything. Now I can just go into my pantograph and sew it out. I could go into my pantograph or select and sew, either one. But I kind of want to go into the pantograph because I want to use the ruler. Okay, now I'm going to set my safe area. So to set my safe area, notice I'm going up and off the quilt, okay? And I want it that way because I want it large enough as I'm rolling so I don't lose my safe area. I don't want to set it too large. I don't want you to go way, way, way across and way, way, way down. I want you to be reasonable, okay? So let's do the top left and move over and now pull it down to the bottom right. All right, now I've set my safe area. And now we're in the pantograph. Let's go over to my ruler. This is the coolest ruler in the world, okay? So I want to find out my area on this top, and I want to find the middle of it. So I'm going to go over here to the top left of this block and of this top border, and I'm going to tap on the left side of the ruler. And notice that you get the line. And now I'm going to move to the bottom right of this block. And now I want to know the area. So I'm going to tap on this ruler right here. This ruler, you can't see me, but see it's highlighted. It's an L-shaped ruler. And it's right underneath where it says back. And notice how it changed. That's my area. So it's roughly 4.263 in the height, and it's 26.48, almost 26 and a half. All right, so now I want to find the middle of that. So I'm just going to tap on my little sewing machine, and it's going to the exact middle of that. And I wanted to show you this. I don't know why. I just did. There you go. There's the middle. So when you're placing your patterns and you need to find the middle, use that sewing machine and notice how it's locked. Okay, I could mark my center. I just go up and mark right here. That's my center. So maybe I want my eye or something to be in the center, but I could go and apply these measurements. So now what I can do is apply my measurements. And notice how it's given me the total width is now 26.48, and it brought in my total height. Okay, so now I can do my design. So I want to go in and select my pattern, and I want to go and find my Vixen, and I'm going to see how many will fit across and look good. And let's go down. And this is the one, I believe. I have two of them there. Well, I'm going to open up this one, and hopefully it's going to be the one. And I don't see my lines going across, so I'm going to go select the other one. I didn't know it would let you do two of them, so. Yeah, see, this one has the lines on it, so this is the one I want. Okay, so now I want to just make sure that it looks good. Do I want to add two patterns? It kind of squishes it up a little more, but it's going to stop right here and move to the next. So I didn't make it more of a continuous line because I don't have those extra lines there making it move from one to the next. So I could go and add it, but we're just going to do one, okay, across the top. And it'll be one big Vixen, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now place this as a single pattern. All right, but I don't want to use block placement because I need 4-point placement. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to tap on it right here. And I want to come in just a tad, okay? So I'm going to use my foot and come in just a tad and tap on that note here. And I'm also going to do this as well because I don't want it to sew all the way to the end. So I'm going to use my foot as a gauge. I'm going to come all the way over here, do the same thing. Now, if I wanted to make sure that it was sewing correctly, I could use the marking tool. And let me show you what the marking tool will do. So I can come up here to my plugins and tap on the marking tool. It's up here in the plugins or down here in the toolbox, okay? It opened up that. So I can go through and start marking to make sure that it's going to sew within the parameters that I want it and not sew out. And I'm going to do a couple little marks all the way across just so it's not going to sew down onto my fox, okay? And that little brown line is your indicator. So if my green line was out or my letters were out, then I know, hey, I don't have it placed like I want it, and I'd start playing with my placement nodes, which are now green. And I'm going to come across the top here, and I would, fix that. All right, so that is my Vixen. So when I come over here and I just tap on quilt, right, there's my little Vixen, there's my marking tool, and let's go and let's sew it out and see what it looks like. We'll give it a little chance. Does anybody have any questions, though? If you have any questions, if I am not making myself clear, I hope that I am. And so I just wanted to show you one other thing before I let you go today. Go and explore the wonderful world of Bont Stitcher, okay? So it's going to do its little tie-off stitches. Notice how I pulled up the threads. Even though I wasn't right in that area, it knows where it wants to be. And I used gray thread so you guys could see. Look how fun. And this is lettering that I did myself, that I made in continuous line. And you can see the path that I'm having it go as it's sewing. I probably should have turned off the lights so you guys could see it. Question? Oh, okay. I asked you for questions, and now, okay. It says, Paulette is asking, can we use the couching quilt with this? Absolutely, and I really encourage you to do it because the couching foot with the lettering, oh, so cute, so adorable. Just make sure that you change your, make sure that you're just having your stitches a smaller SPI in the automation, okay? Really important. And so notice it's just one long line. It's kind of cool. It's a lot of fun. And makes quicker sewing rather than stopping. And look at how fun. And maybe on the long border, I'll have room for 2 Vixens. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a little eclipse. Okay, this is your little bonus for today because you've been so patient with me. I wanted to show you a little design that I made, and we'll add that onto your GPS. It's a little swirl that I thought would be really cute in here. But I'm just going to show you how to do it because I don't have time to change thread and sew this out. And then while we're sewing it out, I want to talk about thread colors. Make sure you pull out the threads and lay it on your quilt before you start sewing. There's nothing worse than for you to be able to put it on there and think, oh, the thread's going to look good, and it doesn't. And you don't want to unpick. And trust me, if you kind of take it, unravel it, and just kind of lay it down, you'll get an idea. My thread broke, so I get a chance to repair my design. Okay. And I could hear that my thread broke. All right, so let's fix our thread first, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to repair your design. All right, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to cut my threads, and I'm going to rethread it really quick. Things happen, and you know what? I think repairing the design is so stinking easy with the automation. I'm kind of glad it broke. All right, so notice I'm locked into place, okay? I need to release my sewing machine so I can move it back and repair my design, okay? And notice, I want you to see, my thread broke all the way over here, but because it kept sewing, it thinks I'm further down the letters than I really am, okay? So I want to release my carriage. Now I can move my carriage back over to where it stops sewing. I'm going to kind of align it as close as I can. And now I'm going to tap on repair pattern. And this is the key, okay? Rather than last stitch, that's the last stitch that it stitched. It kept sewing, so it'd go all the way over here. I'm going to tap on closest stitch because I moved it to where it stopped. So the closest stitch, hear it, it's gonna lock it on and find that closest stitch. Now, I need to bring up my bottom thread, okay? Because I don't want it sewing down underneath. So in your toolbox, eventually I'm gonna get a single stitch in the repair pattern. It's coming, I promise, okay? Baby steps, everybody. So I'm going to open up the toolbox and I'm going to find my single stitch. I do not like the pole bobbin, so I don't use it. I'm going to use my single stitch. And look what it did. It pulled it up. Okay, so there we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on sew. Because it's locked on, it looks good. It's going to do a tie-off stitch and continue sewing. All right, I cut my threads so it could continue sewing. There we go. And I'll fix that little area. There we go. Almost done. And I'll fix those little threads because they got sewn in. And just play with them. But you really shouldn't play around with your fabric and start cutting because it will distort the fabric and it will not let it sew. So I should have just waited till it was completely done and let it do its thing. Okay, so we're done now, and notice this. I'm just going to give it a little extra here. I'm going to cut my threads. I'm still in the and finished, tapped on finish. Now I can use my buttons. Well, once it's changed, there we go. Now I can use my buttons to pull up my thread and cut, and there's my Vixen. It turned out really cute. So I'm going to show you as I'm going across. Notice that? That's the little Vixen. And I used a double layer of batting again. Okay, so let me quickly show you just a fun little design that we can set up. Okay, this is this little triangle here, okay? And I'm going to use a triangle design. I'm going to set it up, and then I'm going to make sure that it's sewing within there. So anyway, crop it out with Eclipse, okay? So I'm going to come back out of here. I'm going to remove all because I want to use my marking tool, and I want to mark around this right here. And I'm not going to show you how to sew it. I'm just going to show you how to do it. Okay, so I can let you go. You can get your quilting done today. Okay, that's my little triangle here. I want to use Eclipse, but I'm going to go in here, and I want to go into Pantograph because I want it a little more dense. I may only use 2 designs, and I'm going to use, let's see, let's get out of here. And we're back into Pantograph. I'm going to use Basic again. And so what I'm going to do is, and then I will use, I'm not quite sure what placement. We'll play around with it, okay? So let's go in and pick my design. And I'm going to come down to one that I designed. It's kind of a little fun. I could use this one here and then add to it. And then I want to connect them. That's kind of fun. And I want to do 2 rows. Probably, or better yet, what I could do is power panto too. So play with your modes and stuff and then see what you like, okay? And then maybe not make it as long or as wide because I can add in my, oh, here's what I need to do. So I just need to get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. I want to do it, let's go in and use my measurement. Let's do, okay, let's go in and use my ruler right here, okay, to right here, and then down to right here, and I'll do this one. And then there. Okay, so that's kind of good. See, notice that my triangle's still within this measurement. So now I can take those and apply those measurements. And now I can go and select my design. I'll go use this one. And I want to make it kind of dense. So I want to do 3 going across. I want to make it. So notice it wasn't connected. What I tapped on is my nest fit, so it would connect them, and I want to add rows to them, okay? All right. I want to make it as dense as possible, and then I'm just going to jump in, and I want to size it and move it and play around with it. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but then we're going to come in. So I want you to play around with this. I want you to play around with Power Panto mode. I want you to play around with not easy. Easy is not the one for this, and basic mode. And find which mode you like that's going to squish them together and play with them. I'd probably go back and use Power Panto. Once you have done that, then what you're going to do is place as a single design, because I want it to squish together. Notice I have these rows, and I could go and adjust them, but I want to show you what I'm going to do when it comes to it. Now I'm going to place my design. All right, I'm going to place it up and out, and just make sure. And I just want to show you how to do this so that you can go in and play with it and have some fun. Okay. So notice that my triangle's in there. I'm going to come into my plugins. Oh, I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, so now I've placed it. Now I'm going to go in my quilt. Now I'm going to go into my plugins in my quilting interface screen. That's where it's at. So notice my plugins right here. And I'm going to come down to Pattern and Clips. And now I want to crop out this area right here. So I'm just going to go around my triangle, and I would put my needle closer so I can crop it out. And I want it to keep out. I want to keep it out this little area here. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to come down here and add, and I'm going to come all the way back up, add, and then I'm going to go across, okay? So I'm going to connect my whole line, okay? And now I want to show you what it's going to do. So this is a little quick, okay, so we're going to go back. It's not keep out that you want, it's keep in, okay? And duh, my bad. So don't do what I do what I say, okay? So we're going to go back. And we're going to tap on the plugins, and we're going to go back into reset, okay? So we're going to go back into the plugins, hit Eclipse again. Dang it. And I'm going to keep in, and now I'm going to say, okay. Now it's going to work right, okay? I just wanted to show you both ways, okay? So it was a good mistake. But anyway, that's what it'll do. It's a lot of fun. Just try it out. Have fun with the automation. Have fun with free motion. Try different ways. Okay, and we have a question. Where are the directions to use the different functions in your QCT? They're in the help files, okay? If you don't have the help files, you're more than welcome to email me. If you need help with them or anything like that, just let me know what you're doing, what you're working on. Send me pictures. I love exploring how to help you with whatever you want to do with automation. That's what I'm here for, is to help and make it a little easier. So they are in the help files. Let me show you where to go in the help files, okay? So we're going to get out of this totally, okay? We're going to go back to the home screen. No. And we're going to come up here to the help, okay? These are all the help files that I've written. So go in, check them out. Notice there's tutorials and there's help. Look at all of these. Look, open them up, read them, follow along, have a good time, but explore. And like I said, it's Karla with a K, K-A-R-L-A. Please email me what you're doing. Thank you for letting me be a little long-winded today. I really appreciate it. And make sure you're using the hashtags on Facebook in the comments to show us what we're doing. So use hashtag TWGQA to ask a question, or hashtag TWG January, Jan, to post your progress, to show us what you're working on, what you're doing. I've already gotten some really cute pictures. I can't wait to show them to you next week. Next week's our question and answer. I'm going to go in more detail on how to sew and piece this cute little fox quilt, and then I would love to see what you're doing. I will have one finished. I will tell you how I finished it and what I did. So thank you again, and it's from all of you that I am even in business and here teaching, so thank you very much. And you have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.